The wind carried the scent of dust and rain as Luke Carter rode through the open plains of Wyoming. The war had taken almost everything from him: his home, his peace, his strength. But the one thing that had stayed with him through it all was his horse, a thin, stubborn bay gelding named Scout. Scout wasn't special to anyone else. He wasn't fast or strong, his gait uneven after an old leg wound that never healed right. But to Luke, he was more than a horse. Scout had carried him through storms, through hunger, through the kind of silence that only broken men know. Yet the world had grown harder. Winter came early that year, harsh and merciless. Luke had no money, no food, and no hope left. Every village he passed turned him away, and every mile made Scout weaker. His ribs showed, his breath turned shallow, and his eyes began to lose their light. Luke tried everything, wrapping him in blankets, sharing his last crumbs of bread, but it wasn't enough. One frozen morning, deep in the wilderness, Scout stumbled and fell. He didn't try to rise again.
Luke knelt beside him, tears freezing on his face. He whispered, "You've done enough, old friend." And then, he did the hardest thing he'd ever done. He left. He turned his back and walked away, believing Scout would die there, alone beneath the gray sky.
Days turned into weeks. Luke wandered from job to job, haunted by the memory of his horse lying in the snow. He couldn't forgive himself. Each night, the image of Scout's eyes, trusting, gentle, undeserving of abandonment, came back to him. Then spring came. The war was over, and Luke returned to his hometown, a small farming valley tucked between two rivers. He worked quietly, kept to himself, and tried to bury the past. But peace never came. Until one stormy night, he heard something outside his barn. It was faint at first, a soft, uneven hoofstep. Luke froze. His heart raced. It couldn't be. He opened the barn door, and lightning flashed across the sky. Standing there, soaked and trembling, was a horse, thin, scarred, and covered in mud. But those eyes, those same gentle eyes. The horse took one weak step forward, then another. His mane was tangled, his coat rough, but there was no mistake. Against all odds, the horse had survived, and somehow, he had found his way home. Luke dropped to his knees. He didn't care about the rain or the mud. He wrapped his arms around Scout's neck and wept like a child. The horse pressed his muzzle against Luke's chest, breathing softly, as if to say, "I found you." No one ever understood how Scout managed it. The distance was over 100 miles. There were rivers, mountains, and wild predators between them. But the old gelding had followed something stronger than sight or strength. He had followed love. In the weeks that followed, Luke nursed him back to health. He fed him by hand, cleaned his wounds, and spoke to him every night as though he were confessing his soul. And in that quiet barn, something in Luke healed too. He realized that Scout hadn't just found his way back to the farm. He had found his way back to the only thing that truly mattered: forgiveness. Months later, the two were seen again riding across the valley, slower, older, but together. People would wave, not knowing the story, only seeing a man and his horse moving as one. But Luke knew. Every hoofbeat was a reminder of mercy undeserved. Every sunrise over the fields was a second chance. Because sometimes the ones we leave behind are the ones who come back to save us.